Hey, what's going on guys? Mixuba here, and in today's video we're going to be taking a look at a Dimir control deck for Standard 2022. So, this is my first time ever playing Standard 2022, and obviously I had to play my favorite deck, which is Dimir Control. So I've been tweaking it for the past 3-4 hours and playing a ton of games, and this is the list I ended up with. It has a ton of new cards from the D&D set, so we'll get into those first. We have the 2-mana removal spell, Power Word Kill. I started out with 4 of this card, but I realized the standard 2022 meta has a ton of dragons. It has like Galazeth Prismari, Goldspan Dragon, a couple other ones that are just trust me on this. Dragons are a super relevant creature type in that format, so we into flunks to be able to deal with those dragons at instant speed. It's less consistent than Heartless Act, but it's still an answer, whereas a lot of the time the Power Word Kill just sat in my hand and did nothing. Other new cards we have are Ebon-Death Draco Lich. So this can be one of your win cons. It's one of your quote-unquote power creatures. 4 mana, 5/4 flash flying at ETB's tapped. You can cast it from your graveyard if a creature not named Ebon-Death Draco Lich died this turn. So like on turn 6, if this thing is in your yard, you can use Power Word Kill on an opponent's creature and then reanimate it. On your turn, on turn 5, you can Bloodchief's Thirst something and then reanimate the Draco Lich. Basically, it's a recurring threat that can slowly kill your opponent throughout the game. They have to respect it. If not, it's a 4-turn clock. And I just found it acts as a really cool win con in the deck. So just one copy, we don't really want to play any more than that. Other new cards we have are Immorth Desert Doom. Now, when I read this card, I wasn't a huge fan of it. 5 mana for a 5/5 flyer with ward 4 as long as it's untapped. And it also has the ability that whenever it deals combat damage to a player, you draw a card. Then if you have fewer than 3 cards in hand, to draw cards equal to the difference. So this card will always draw you 1 card. And that's something I kept forgetting over the course of playing the deck. I kept on thinking that I would only draw if I had less than 3, and I would draw up to 3, right? Up to like my hand having 3 cards, but that's not the case. Attack with this thing, even if you are not trying to clock your opponent down, or, obviously you're trying to kill your opponent with the thing, but even if you are just trying to get in for a couple swings here and there, it will draw you a card, so that's very relevant. The ward 4 was a lot better than I expected. The format is a lot more powered down than current standard, so the thing actually shines, and it's a dragon, so it's immune to the 2-mana removal spell right here. What else do we have in terms of new cards? We have the Manlands. Hall of the Storm Giants is crazy. Absolute beast of a card. Costs a lot to animate it, but a 7/7 creature with Ward 3 is great. It's basically pseudo hexproof, and it's really hard for the opponent to remove. Oh, also, really quick, while I'm speaking of Manlands, I remembered Faceless Haven. This card doesn't kill Faceless Haven because Faceless Haven is all creature types, so be cognizant of that. Just more reason to run cards like Flunk or Hagrimulling in your deck. Anyways, the rest of the list is older cards you guys know and love. We have some Bloodchief's Thirst, just cheap early removal. The ability to kill non-dragons is great, and the ability to take out Planeswalkers is great as well. There's actually quite a few Planeswalkers in this format, from Professor Onyx to the new Esper-colored Planeswalkers in the set. We have a Disdainful Stroke, just a not catch-all counterspell, but a 2-mana counterspell that's very good in the late game. We have 30 lands in the deck, so we have 25 base and 4 Jwaris and the Hagrimulling. Having 30 lands is actually really good because we have 3 man lands and 5 DFC lands. So we pretty much never miss a land drop, and you never do want to miss a land drop, and they also pair really well with Cosima. Now, this is a card that has not really had the chance to perform in Standard because it's pretty slow, but in this format, I found that it just does a ton of work for me. And if you're missing land drops with Cosima and Exile, you're really not getting much value, and having 30 lands basically makes sure you never miss a land drop. Also, because you have all of these man lands and all the DFCs, you don't typically flood out. I think in like 20 games-ish, I flooded out once or twice, which that's going to happen in a deck with 24 lands anyways. Aside from that, we have Negates, just solid 2-mana counterspell. There's a ton of non-creature stuff you need to counter in this format anyways. Flunk as the alternative to Power Word Kill because dragons are a pain, like I mentioned before. Divide to 0, adding some Learn from Strixhaven, really solid. I usually play one of my control decks, even in normal Standard, with a Learn board. You guys know this, you've seen it before. It's the same standard Learn board. Soul Shatter, really good, honestly. I'm not a fan of this card either, but that's just because we've been playing in a powerful Standard format. Having a 3 mana instant speed kill a Goldspan Dragon without generating a treasure is really good. It can also hit Planeswalkers, which, as I mentioned before, is pretty relevant. So we might bump up the amount of Soul Shatter we run, but for now, 2 copies is doing fine. Saw It Coming, great. It's a slower format. Saw It Coming does a great job. Behold as well, having the foretell options are really cool. There's a bunch of hand hate spells like Devour Intellect, the other 2 mana new sorcery one from the set, from the D&D set, I can't remember what it's called, Humiliate, stuff like that. So being able to foretell away your cards so they're protected from hand hate is really good. We have Shadow's Verdict as our sweeper. I really do miss Extinction Event. It's like the one card as I'm playing the deck that I wish I had the most. Shadow's Verdict is a good sweeper, especially with decks that have a ton of cheap creatures, but against the bigger stuff, it just doesn't feel the same. I don't know. It's not the oomph that a sweeper should have. It's a great card, don't get me wrong, but I don't know. I feel like Black needs another sweeper to be really competitive. And Professor Onyx, because it's a very powerful planeswalker, Magecraft ability is super relevant, comes down, either pluses, it gets you card advantage, minuses kills the thing, and the -8 pretty much wins you the game. The mana base has some Ice Tunnels. We don't have any Snow synergy, we just need some mana fixing, and Ice Tunnel is the only dual land in Dimir in Standard right now, so we pretty much have to run it. Or, not Standard right now, Standard 2022. We also have the Pathways, and like I said before, the new Manlands from Adventures into the Forgotten Realms. So guys, sorry for the longer intro, I just had a lot to talk about because it is a control deck, it's not as self-explanatory. Well, it kind of is, but some of the card choices aren't. So anyways, deck list will be in the description down below. If you like the deck, be sure to drop a like on the video and consider subscribing, it motivates me to make more content. So that's gonna be it for me guys, let's get into some games. Okay, let's go. Good mana, nice 1, 2, 3 into a sweeper. And we can start on the Ice Tunnel. An impressive card, but we need some dual lands sometimes. And I think we just take this out. We don't really want the opponent to have that much mana ramp. And Lotus Cobra can be a scary card. So happy to just remove it. Other Cobra? Sure. And they generate some more mana. Alright. Is this a Cosima turn? Or is this a hold open saw it coming turn? I mean, Cosima blocks. I think we just get her down as soon as we can. And then we can start stacking up voyage counters and build up to a Shadow's Verdict. I can even hold her back, but I think we take that action. I haven't played Cosima in a while, guys. Bear with me. Okay, so we put a voyage counter? Yeah, we put the voyage counter. Okay, cool. Now, do I hold open counterspell? Do I foretell? I think we just pass. I think ideally I go for a Behold the Multiverse, and then we find land and Shadow's Verdict this board. Hit me for 5. No pack tactics. Feels good. Tap land. Opponent could have played tap land, added the mana, and then buff this thing's power and toughness. Ooh, Asika's Chariot is a card. Makes the wolves. The problem is they get to crew the chariot a lot. Is it worth having the chariot stick around to take another bump from these creatures? I mean, we still might just draw a counterspell. Draw land 5, sorry. So we might just be able to Shadow's Verdict anyways. I mean, we drew land 5, but it was tapped. Okay. I could take this action, but I mean, yeah, sorry, take action. And do we pass here? Do we foretell? I think we just pass. Probably should have foretold last turn, but I did not expect an Asika's Chariot. And we can still go for a Behold the Multiverse this turn. We're taking a bit of a beating, but we know that we have these Shadow's Verdicts. Another Chariot. Alright, this one's just getting hard countered. So we exile here. So Cosimo will come back as a 4/6 and I'll draw 2 cards. Is that good enough? It's not horrible. We have another Shadow's Verdict lined up. I think we can wait another turn. And we know we can find more land via the Behold. We are like a 30 land deck. Gnarled Professor. Okay. Sweet deck. I've seen a bunch of different mono green brews here and there. For environmental sciences, alright. So I can Behold here, or I can just play the Dragon. I think I Behold, try to find more land. And then bring back Cosima. Yeah, these are both fine. I get to hold open Sod coming. After bringing back my creature. So I think more... Well, we have 3 blue and 3 black, or technically 4 blue. We could just put this on black. We do need a ton of blue. Alright, more blue. We're gonna decline that. And bring Cosima back. Draw 3 cards. Pass the turn. Okay, sweet. Good draws. Good draws. And making a 5/7 is awesome. It means the Gnarled Professor does not have a clean attack. So I could deny them a land, but I don't think that's worth it. We can counter pretty much anything else they do. And start taking over the game with our big cards. Okay. Goes to attackers, nothing. So we can Soul Shatter. They lose their Professor. I can keep this around or I can exile it. Do I keep the 5/7? Do they even win past the 5/7? I don't think so. I'm gonna decline. We're gonna keep this thing around and just start beating at the opponent. Yup. Play the Barons. Play Imrith. Hold open Sod coming. So now they're on a 2-turn clock. Gnarled Professor. I'm gonna go with no on that. And the opponent scoops it up. Let's go. Cosima actually putting in work that game, and Dimir control just doing its thing. Alright, sweet, good hand. Let's go. We can play tap land on 1, and we have a nice 2, 3, 4, 5. But we are definitely starting on the Ice Tunnel. Guaranteed tap land, and it's a mana fixer. Okay, Killian. Does Killian just die? Do we just take him out? Spells you cast the target a creature cost 2 less to cast. I think we just pass. We might be able to Jwari something. Opponent might try to buff up their Killian Spellbinder. I'm going to say no to that. We have a clean answer to the Spellbinder in the Disruption. And the lifelink isn't as relevant in a control matchup. Plus we've drawn a bunch of land. So I think we're good playing the Swamp. Don't want to play Cosima just yet. We have to deal with the onboard threat. We don't exactly have a clean opportunity. I'll take 2. Still hold open Sod coming, and if the opponent hasn't done anything worth countering, then we can just shoot it. But that dragon is definitely worth countering. Like 100% of the time. So we can play a bit more blue. And 4 Telesot coming. While holding open Power Word Kill. Basically just a janky Doomblade, okay? Take another 2. This is fine. Opponent doesn't do anything. Let's Behold. I'll take a Soul Shatter. I don't think I need the tap land. We'll find more untapped lands. Right. So I think this is a Cosima turn. We can play Cosima, hold open the Power Word Kill. And if the opponent doesn't remove it right now, then we can get a ton of value. If they have a removal spell, it can just be discounted. Well, I guess we could have removed the Killian to stop that from happening, but they did this on end step anyways, right? Oh, during your end step. Well, like I still think this is fine. I think this was worth saving, and it was still worth going for all the card draw spells. Humiliate. Let's just shoot this Killian now. It's been here long enough. We'll get to either take my sweeper or my spot removal spell. They take my sweeper. Okay. And now we're gonna need some card advantage. Hound will ramp them because they're behind on mana. And we might be flooding here. I really needed this thing to stick around, but it makes sense that they had removal. Sacrifice creature with the highest mana value. So they have to sack one or the other. I think we just rip off the Soul Shatter here. Okay. And we need one of our finishers. That's like the third Killian. Verdict. Well, it's not a finisher, but it's not bad. Let's go. Now, if the opponent could just draw a land for like 1 or 2 turns in a row while I find some card advantage or counter magic or something, that'd be great. Look at that. That's why we played the pathway. And now we can play land pretty happily. The opponent knows what it is anyways. So any creature just dies to this removal spell. Yep. And we Soul Shatter. Okay, and now we're on a raw top deck war. I'm gonna hold the land that I draw, as long as it's not like man land. Okay, I think we could play it now. Hall of Oracles, interesting. Okay, Hive, that's a man land. Sweet, so we can start getting in there. Start using our mana a bit more. The opponent might have removal spells, but I think it's okay. We even draw the negate to save our man land, if need be. Baleful Mastery. I'll counter it. I'm down to try to save my man land. Exile, I guess, this thing. I'm not sure if it really matters. But we can start chipping in with this thing. It's probably the worst man land to draw. We have the blue one with a hexproof giant, and we have a crawling barons. Let's rip off the behold. Oh yeah, there's the dragon. Big dragon. And we play the boy out. Okay. Ward 4 right now because it's untapped. We'll see if we can connect with it. Well, if it connects, we're only drawing 1 card. So I think it's still worth animating the Hive. Get in there. Exile, I guess, this for some reason. In case they have a way to buy back a removal spell. I don't think they will, but it's worth a shot. We draw 1 card. We can foretell this, protect it from a hand hate spell. And now we still have 4 mana. We can play Disdainful Stroke and saw it coming. And it's also good to get it out of our hands so we can draw off the dragon. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we have this game. So play land, animate the Hive. Just start slowly chipping, I say slowly, quickly chipping away at the opponent's life total with 8 power. But yeah, we managed to just play a nice steady Dimir control game, and creature decks against Dimir control do not fare all that well, even with the deck having some hand hate. Okay, let's go. Hand is definitely keepable. Now, do I play this tapped on 1 or not? That's the real question. Yeah, worst case I play it on turn 4. I'm gonna be greedy. I have 30 lands in my deck. Alright, pathway. So is that a foretell counterspell, or is that a foretell behold the multiverse? Tough calls. Real tough calls. I think it's a foretold Behold the Multiverse. I think I'm more likely to want to snap this off than this. And I can still just play Island and hold both open. Okay. So tap land? I don't think so. I think we just play that and hold open either Saw It Coming or Behold on turn 3. Alright, so is this like a Is It Spells deck? We'll see. Opponent's just passing. Maybe it's... Is it Control? I'm not sure. Those seem good. Those seem really powerful. Maybe we don't want Onyx because of all the Foretell stuff. But Cosima seems pretty good. You know what? I'm going to take the power. We have enough interaction and not a lot of top end, and we're not under a ton of pressure right now. So I'm really not opposed to the powerful spells. So do I just play land pass? I don't really want to get Cosima down right away without any backup. So I think it's just land Foretell and see if the opponent wants to do anything. If they play this, I can't counter it because I just foretold this turn. But I think that's completely fine. I can actually force spike them. Isn't that worth it? What are they going to resolve on 4? Galazeth Prismari? Would I counter that? I think I would, right? Okay. They can cycle. I guess I'm not too scared of this Prismari command. And I really want to start getting Cosima ticking. The more I play with this card, the more I like it. Oh, alright. So we are just dedicated dragons deck. I was running 4 power word kills, but I faced so many dragon decks with just dead power word kills in my hand that I was like, you know what? We can't be having this. So we had to add some flunks to the deck. So, land Cosima, right? Just try to get her down. And try to get Cosima to start taking over the game. It's one of the cheaper creatures that I run that can win a game by itself. Okay, opponent discards Magma Opus. Alright, so they're going to have access to 4, 5, 6, maybe 7 mana next turn. Galazeth Prismari. Alright, I'm going to go for the Saw It Coming. The opponent can sacrifice their treasures to use their Saw It Coming. Yep. But then the opponent's only going to have 1 mana. So if I draw untapped land, then we get to play Professor Onyx. I'm exiling Cosima. Ooh, we draw tap land. That's unfortunate. It's alright though. We could play Imrith. Blocks a lot of stuff in their deck really well. And we can start stacking up counters on Cosima. Behold the Multiverse. Okay. 2 to the bottom. Good sign. Ward 4 is also a hell of a lot of ward. Alright, what's it gonna be? Nothing. Perfect. Just the way I like it. So I could spend 6 mana on this. I just don't think we get anything. Right? It probably just gets countered. Do I hold Juarez? I think I do. Is it even worth attacking with this Imrith? It's holding the Galazeth back. If I had an empty hand, I'd definitely be attacking, but I don't, right? And the opponent can still technically be struggling on mana, so maybe it's correct to hold this. I'll play land. I'm going to keep stacking counters here. This isn't resolving if we play it right away. So do we just foretell Saw It Coming pass? I think so. Maybe it's defensive, but I think that's fine. We are a control deck after all. And I don't exactly want to take off Ward 4 and they just Dragon's Fire it down. I don't know what dragon they can reveal. I know there's like a new 6-mana mythic one that can't be countered. If they reveal that, then I'm just screwed. And we know they run Magma Opus and stuff like that, which is why I'm hoping the the Jwari's Disruption will still hit something. Okay, Iteration. I'm not like scared of Iteration. It's an annoying card, but I think I have to hold Saw It Coming for better things. Untap land here would be great though, which would have been a good reason to play the Jwari's. Okay, there's a temple. So, as it ETBs, you can reveal a dragon. It reveals tap unless you reveal a dragon, and then you get to choose a color. So it's basically just a mana fixer. What do they reveal? Am I tripping? Oh, it enters tap unless you reveal a dragon or control a dragon, and they have the dragon. Okay, I'm not tripping. Alright, we're good. Makes sense. Soul Shatter. That's a card. That is definitely a card. So I think it's honestly just Jwari's Disruption tapped. Keep stacking counters here. Try to go for a Soul Shatter on their turn. Do we attack with the Imrith now? I could play this, attack, draw a card. Let's see if this resolves first. I'm gonna go for it now. If they use a 3-mana counter spell, I can use Jwari's. They use Saw It Coming. Okay. I could have countered that. I don't think it's worth it. Now I can actually... Should have played this pre-combat and then attacked and drawn a card. Going to take action there. Next land I play, I can bring it back. Draw 3. Ward 4 is a pain though. But at least it really taxes the opponent on mana. Yeah, that's not happening. Playing around Jwari's. Absolutely not happening. Okay. So, not too bad. Okay, hear me out. I'm gonna play this. Not take action. I'm gonna take action, not bring Cosima back just yet. Play out Professor Onyx. Force the sacrifice of the Prismari. Take down Ward, but still just draw 2 cards. Nice, nice, nice. So no counter magic, but we have a Planeswalker on the board. And we have a Cosima about to come back and draw 4 cards. My motivation's withered. So what, opponent has 5 mana right now? Foretell. Fair enough. Hagra Mauling. That's actually pretty funny. So do I just play the Hagra Mauling? I guess I do, right? I just target the Goldspan Dragon. Try to get my opponent's counters cast. If they counter this, I can resolve Liliana. And now I'm happy I played this as a tap land. Oh. So that's how it is. I could play this. I mean, I don't think we're drawing cards off Imrith right now. I think I just, honestly, play the land, decline, bring back Cosima, try to draw some counter magic. No counter magic, unfortunate. But we can still swing in with our 5/5 flyer. Yeah, we're not drawing any cards. Oh, what? Oh, we draw 1 card if it deals combat damage. Right. So, Foretell. And then we can Foretell again. Or, yeah. So we're gonna foretell this saw it coming. Now, and the opponent scoops it up. Okay. Alright, kind of a weird game, but we managed to get there in the end, and Imrith puts in some serious work. Okay, let's go. All our colors, potentially a 2-3-4 at instant speed. So is this a turn 1 Juarez? Oh man, I always ask myself this question. It's tough right now. I'm gonna be greedy, and I'm not gonna go for it. We're just gonna play the swamp. I typically end up being greedy with the card because 1, I'm on the draw, 2, I have 30 lands in my deck. Okay, Esper. Esper foretelling a spell. Okay. Kinda wanna foretell Sod coming to have it open, but we can probably negate anything they do. So I'm gonna foretell one of these Beholds. Yeah, kind of regretting not playing Juarez on 1, but we have so much card draw, we're probably going to end up finding more lands anyways. That's a card. That is something that they have to respect and remove. So, okay, I'm going to give them 1 turn to remove Cosima. And if not, it's going to take over the game. Hopefully their only out was countering it. They are Esper, but they haven't played any black lands yet. And there's a black land. I will eat my tongue. Bite my words. Are those real expressions? I think so. It is like 3 in the morning. Maybe I'm just tripping out. Okay. Well, that's good. Opponent spends their whole turn pretty much removing this thing at sorcery speed. So, island, tap, tap, foretell the counterspell. Okay, so we have a ton of card draw and counter magic against Esper, so I like my spot. We're gonna need to hit lands and eventually find a game-winning spell. Lithoform Blight. Land loses all abilities, they cantrip. I'm gonna go with no. Are they gonna fight me over a Lithoform Blight? They are, okay. That seems fine with me. Have they hit land this turn? I don't think so. Okay, they have. I'm going to play Juarez, tap to make sure I keep hitting my land drops. And foretell another Behold the Multiverse. We'll get these cast eventually, don't you guys worry. Power Word Kill might actually end up hitting something. Sure. Yeah, they get rid of one of my Beholds. It's fine, we have 2 more in exile at the moment. I don't think it's worth countering. Foretell. And we can Behold. So this really just looks like Esper Control, land and divide by 0. Both seem good. I want to keep progressing my mana. I am going to need another black source at some point. And divide is a house of a card sometimes. I can fetch a Mascot Exhibition. They Behold. I could put that back in their hand. Force them to do it all over again, or I could just counter it. Let's just counter the card draw spell. Check for traps. They can get rid of my divide by 0. Alright, that's fine. I mean, hand hate's good against us, but it's not like absolutely crippling right now. And we're slowly getting ahead on lands. Opponent will foretell. A ton of foretelling in this format, which I find really cool. Saw it coming. Okay, well, we're down to 2 cards and the opponent knows them. Not a good card to draw, like, at all. We can't even, yeah, we can't even start pumping mana into the Crawling Barrens, which is sad. Okay, I mean, I can keep progressing my mana, I guess. And opponent top deck that land. All the removal spells. Okay. We're gonna need like an actual spell here. Sod Coming's not bad. I foretell, protecting it from hand hate, which we know they have. Okay, opponent drew 3 lands in a row. We're just drawing some counter spells. Seems pretty good. Seems better than removal. Yeah. And more mana isn't horrible, especially if we're not under crazy amounts of pressure. But I'd like one of my man lands. Behold. Do I just cast this? Or is this better to do at instant speed? I guess we cast it in case we hit land. I'm not gonna keep land, but I might just draw it anyways. Like that, see? Okay. And we get further into the deck. Getting rid of a Shadow's Verdict seems pretty good. Also, this is one of the worst man lands to get. Spider Queen. I'm gonna go with a no. Opponent drew a Planeswalker. I didn't. Where are my dragons? Where are my... Well, Soul Shatter is pretty cool. It answers the next Planeswalker they play. They have a ton of mana. So I'm just going to play out my Ruins. I think we actually animate the Hive. Just try to start chipping away at their life total. Exile the Spider Queen. I wonder what the white's for. We've seen only Dimir cards. If I'm correct. Yeah. So just handful of removal, 1 counter spell, and 1 man land. Let's go. I can counter this, or I could just Soul Shatter it. If the opponent creates a token, that's totally fine. Okay. I'm gonna let that resolve just because we've drawn a Soul Shatter.
You mustn't be very wise to pick a fight with me.
And I'm kind of hoping the opponent -2s, just so I can start using the removal. Okay, in response, I will have you sacrifice your Planeswalker. So it did draw them 2 cards,
Is my library.
but they do lose 1 of them. Okay, that's good. So after this, I'll have... How much mana? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And if I animate this, it costs me 4. So this costs me 5 mana to use and 5 mana here. How much mana do I have? 5, 11. I think I'm missing 1 mana to do all of it. So I play out the Imrith. Does it even resolve? Oh, it does resolve. Okay. Unless I want to do this, it would cost me the rest of my mana, so I think I just pass. I want to be able to counter something. And this having Ward 4 right now is pretty good. I have to remember that whenever it deals combat damage, it draws a card. Because I keep thinking that as long as I have over 3, it won't, just because of this line of text. But, you know, that's just me being a bit of an idiot. Gelatinous Cube. I can double removal spell that. And it's like fine. So this is 7 minus 2, it'll deal 5. Okay. This also costs like Ward 4, so they have to pay 4 mana to even take it. And then I can just remove the cube. Yeah. And then I can use Power Word Kill that they know about. Okay. So, Ooze has officially engulfed my dragon. But we can just shoot the Ooze and get my dragon back. Very unexciting. I'm gonna play Liliana. That resolves. I'm going to attack before I plus it to draw an extra card. And then we're going to plus Liliana to find even more cards. Oh, I don't even get to draw an extra card, so I should have just done this first. Right. Put something into my hand. Other Imrith. Imrith or Soul Shatter. I guess other Imrith is pretty good. Just in case
There has to be an answer here.
they manage to remove this one. Bloodseep's Thirst. Sure. I'm not even gonna fight that.
All the kindness.
Doomscar. Honestly, sure. I could fight over this, but I don't even think it's worth it. Opponent's dead to my land in 3 turns anyways, which is pretty funny. So we're gonna start by animating the hive and attacking. I guess get rid of the things they can potentially reanimate. I don't even know if there is any Planeswalker reanimation, but it's worth thinking about. Disdainful Stroke. I will fight over my dragon this time, though, since they're out of cards. Okay. So they have to find an answer to my dragon and then an answer to my land. Nope, they're dead. Oh, we managed to get there, boys. Dimir control taking out Esper control. Now, before I end the game, I just want to see if there was any white cards right. So Doomscar, is that it? Looks like that's it.